Thanks for tuning in to this week's Tech Talk on the FPV Underground. This week we're going to be going over the Brain FPV F3 flight controller. Okay, now let's get into the actual flight controller. So, I had a lot of high hopes for this flight controller. It's an F4 flight controller. It has a PDB that it comes with, has an OSD on it. It has race transponder setups where you would just solder these little guys onto the pads in the corners here so it comes out each side. Everything I would want for a race quad that I am setting up. The only problem I had that I couldn't even get going on this board to put it into a new build that I was doing was that it ran Open Pilot. And I played around with it. I just couldn't wrap my brain around it, no pun intended. But I mean, it had things like a treasure map like this and other stuff that just made no sense to me. I mean, I'm trying to build a race quad here, and obviously with things, you know, they're leaning towards that route too, you don't need that type of stuff. So hopefully Brain FPV you know, transfer this stuff over, get a hex file for race flight or something for this that we could use it to put it together. I still have hopes for it. Hopefully it does go to race flight, and hopefully there's something I could do with this. You know, I still would like to get this into a quad and see what the F4 board and everything that they have here, the whole setup, to me, it just seems pretty good. So, you know, until then, I'll just have to wait. But while we're here, let's go over a couple other boards that I've been using in the past and present and everything, and I'll give you a little overview on my input on them, and hopefully my input could help you guys a little bit. So, the first board that I was playing with for a while, this is the Lux flight controller. This was a really good board. I like the pin layout and everything on it. It made for a really nice, clean build. You could run all, you know, the good stuff on there from Betaflight. You know, everything. Everybody talks about the low loop times and everything. Even though, from my own testing, you know, like running whatever it is, the 8K to 4K and all that stuff, I don't see too much of a difference. But if you could run 8. You might as well run 8. This board, interesting enough, does you can run race flight on it, I believe. I haven't done that yet. I was just running Betaflight, and the only problem I had with this board is that the gyro is just way too sensitive. I know guys say you could put a double-sided stick here and everything. I didn't really get around to testing that. I had it with the O-rings to, like, say, rubber mount it in a way, and that did help, but the gyro is still, there's just too much noise on this board. So that board wasn't too great for me. I'd say a board that's been really great in the past, sorry I'm throwing everything around here, this is the Ready-Made RC, the Dodo. This is a great board. If you're looking at a board and you're just getting into flying or just anything in general, this is a great board to have. It runs Betaflight. All these boards, pretty much, I could say that I'm going to show you, you could have direct input voltage in up to, I believe, like 6S. On most of them, that means you could just directly plug it into the board. You don't have to have some step-down regulator or anything. And these also all have, they're capable to run S-Bus already. You could just solder on straight to S-Bus like I have done in the past here. But this is a great board. You can't really go wrong with this board. I just haven't been using it for a while. This is actually one of their earlier ones. That's why it's green. I think most of them are black now, if you're wondering. Or one of their batches that had this. But yeah, this is a great board. I just moved past it to try a couple other boards, mainly because I got into this board here, which was the KISS flight controller, and I really did like this board when it is working well. When it is not working well, it's just a nightmare. I had plenty of gyro issues that, I mean, I don't know why I would have gyro issues. I mean, it pretty much uses like the same chip, I believe, as the Dodo board, but for some reason I would just have a lot of problems with this board. I love their software. The GUI was great. The way it's set up, everything is just very simple. It's like the Lux board, and it had a really nice layout and everything to it. I just couldn't get it to work the way I wanted. Maybe it's just me and how I'm flying or what it is, but until I can figure out what's going on with this board, maybe like if they have another update or something, I'm not really sure. I can't give you 100% input except the fact that it didn't really work for me. What has been working for me are these two boards here, and these are what's going in pretty much all my builds now. If I have a really tight build and I need to save some space, this board is the one that I'm going with. This is the DTFC board. You could get it at Rotor Geeks, I think a couple other places, but it is a PDB and FC all in one. This one, you know, you could run the same things as Betaflight, 8K, 4K, low loop times. Everything on here is great. It has like a, you know, current sensor. Only problem with this one is that I can't regulate too much voltage off of this one. It just goes, you know, it's a PDB, and I get it. I mean, there's some downfall to this one because it's integrated a PDB and an FC. I get that they could only cram in so much space for everything, but you could get by it. It's not bad. I mean, but if you want, like, you know, a filtered voltage or something for your video transmitter, you still have to do a couple other things. But this is a great board, and I really like it, and I'm gonna stick with this board for really tight builds. So if you're interested in a good board for, you know, your small builds and everything, I would go with this one. But my main board out of everything is gonna have to be the Motolab Cyclone FC. This board just does everything I need to do. I mean, I stack it onto a PDB that has, you know, all my filtered voltage regulation and everything, all the regulators on that, so I don't have to worry about too much except just running everything I need to this board. And this board is able to handle the abuse and everything I put onto it. It handles really well. I could run the low loop times. It processes very, very good. So if you're just looking for a board as well to get, I mean, even to get started, the Dodo's a great board. This is an amazing board that I use in everything right now if I don't have to worry about space. So this is pretty much my wrap up of these boards. I mean, try them out for yourself. And I know I wanted to get more of a review on this Brain FPV board, but it just didn't really happen. Not yet, but hopefully this little quick review, I mean, I don't really go like in depth with all these boards and everything. There's plenty of information online and stuff about them. This is just my opinion on it. But yeah, try them out for yourself. See what works for you. Hopefully my recommendations are pretty good for you guys. And if you have any comments or anything you guys want to ask or just add to what I've said, leave them below in the comment area. And I hope to see you guys again next week. Thanks for tuning in.